What's up, YouTubers? This movie is a request for Leluca 7, which actually was a good question about the strumming pattern for my previous video about Redemption song Bob Marley. So I'm just going to give a few basic strumming patterns that I use. So first things first, you don't have to use the exact strumming pattern that I use, but I'm just going to give a few simple examples that I tend to use and that I think sound good while I'm strumming something. So I'm going to start with a couple of them. Here's number one. You're going to do down, down, up, down, up. That's the chuck, so let me slow it down for you. And an example with a G chord would be down, down, up, down, up. So that's... Try to tap it with your foot. Your foot is tapping this, if you can hear that. I hope you can hear this. I'll tap along on my guitar just to be sure you hear the beat. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's the beat. And you're just going to do some 8 notes with it. So down, down, up, down, up, down, down, up, down, up. I'll write this down for you on the screen. So that's what that's one of the examples that I use. Okay, now let's do another example. Right, hopefully that makes sense. So here's number 2. You can also just leave that upstroke at the end and end up with a downstroke. So here's another example of that. So for that, if I remember correctly, we did this. Down, down, up, down, up. Right? Down, down, up, down, up. You can also just end up with a down. Down, down, up, down. So down, down, up, down, 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 up, down, down. In case you're wondering why am I muting the strings here, I'm doing that on purpose so you can hear a percussive effect, so you don't hear any notes, so you can just clearly hear a rhythm. So over here I'm gently putting all my fingers on the strings. I'm not putting any pressure on it. Not hearing that. That's when I'm using too much power. I'm just gently touching them. Relax. The guitar has feelings. Don't push it. Relax. Right? Okay, so let's practice that one more time, now that you know that I was talking about muting strings. I think you probably already know this, but just wanted to make sure that you get that. So, down, down, up, down, 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 up, down. So, what's also important that will go together with your left hand, with your fret hand, right? Because otherwise you're going to sound sloppy. It's always good to practice this stuff with a metronome, because that's the only way to just really sound tight and on the rhythm. Alright, other than that, let's see what I also can add for you over here. So we've done some basic strumming patterns. You can do just down, but it won't sound exciting when you're just going to go on every beat with a down strum, then it'll sound like this. So add some upstrokes, add some downstroke, or leave one downstroke to make it sound more exciting. Now also over here, when I'm going for that C chord, over here in E minor or a G chord, depending on when you look at this chord right over here. There's some ways to look at this chord. So what I do over there is I do a different kind of strum over there. So that's, let's see what I do over here. First I'm now playing just a C chord, but I'm starting with the root, so just the A string over here. And then I'm doing a down upstroke. So start with the root, down, up. Try that with me. same with the chord after that, which was that chord. That's either an E minor with a minor sixth in it, E minor 7 with a minor sixth, or a G chord with a C in it, depending on how you look at it. Alright, so here it is all together. I'll show you the right hand. Root, down, up, root, down, up. Remember, there are small strokes. I'm not doing this. See, that sounds, you don't want that. What's important is to isolate certain strings, but it's quite a skill. If you're like an absolute beginner, it's going to be hard and frustrating. It takes time to be able to do that. So be patient with yourself. Don't beat yourself up with that. Alright, now let's see if we can add something more exciting. Yeah, why not? Let's add another strum. You can also do these with the chords, right? You don't have to just stick with those two that I showed you. You can also do that with the A minor. Hopefully those are some good strumming patterns for you to practice, and I think you will enjoy these strumming patterns once you actually master them in some sort of way. What I also want to add at the end of this lesson is that it's important that you do understand that the left hand must be perfect for this kind of stuff. Just to give an example, if I'm playing a G to an E minor and I can't do that switch, or vice versa, or E minor to a G, you know, if I'm still stuck at this stage, you know, like, alright, I can play an E minor, I can play a G2. Just a second, just a moment, I'll get there, just give me a minute, you know. That finger goes there, that finger goes there. See, perfect tone. Right, I can play them. Well, not entirely. Because you need to be able to do that stuff in speed. And the only way to learn how to play faster is to start practicing slower. So I'm also going to give you some tips for being better in chord changes, which will make you a better rhythmic guitar player once in a while. So what you're going to do, if you're still struggling with that stuff that I just showed you, which you probably are if you are a beginner, depending on how long you've been playing guitar and how successful that has been going for you. Everyone is different, everyone's unique in their own sort of way, right? Okay, so if you're still struggling with changing from one chord to another, what you're going to do is you're going to just play and check every note. Make sure you don't get a fret buzz. Yuck! Ew, that's gross, right? So you're going to play the chord, any chord that you're struggling with. You're going to remove your hand from the neck, and you're going to place it back. And just keep doing that. I know what you might be thinking. I don't want to practice this, I just want to play guitar. This is boring, yada yada yada, blah 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 blah. I know it might be boring, but it'll make you a better guitar player, and eventually you'll have more fun. Right, so that's the first thing that you need to be able to do before you do this kind of stuff. Secondly, it's important that even though once you can do this stuff easily, using the G chord again, see, all sounds good, it's also important that you can switch within one beat easily from any chord. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to play from A till G every chord. So A, B, C, D, E, G, E, F, sorry, let's go through the alphabet, F, G, right? See, no problem. Can do that without even looking at the guitar. And if you can't, you've got some homework to do. Alright, this hopefully will encourage you and will make you, will prevent you from having any kind of frustration. I've had a lot of guitar players coming to me with this kind of stuff, with a lot of frustrations, and they always say, I can play the rhythm parts perfectly, but I just can't seem to translate that in switching from one chord to another. No, you can't. Because you need to master the chords first, and then you can start adding some rhythm on your right hand, mixed up together with the left hand. That's when you can do that kind of stuff. That's the end of today's lesson. Don't forget to share everything with your friends on Facebook, MySpace, Twitter, yada yada yada. Whatever you can share it with, share them. And leave me a thumbs up and hopefully a positive comment. That's all, folks. Thanks for watching.